Well, Stevie, it's arguably the worst night that VIP, well certainly that I've been involved with VIP, worst night of boxing.
Worst night of boxing, the worst night of results, yeah. Last Saturday night, I was so hopeful that we was going to have one of my best nights in boxing, and ended up being one of the worst. But you know, as they say in boxing, that's boxing, and I certainly know you've got to take the lows with the highs. I mean, we're going to talk about Josh later, but I've had some best nights in my life and some great highs with him, and we've had to take the low on Saturday. It wasn't nice. But as I say, you can't have everything in life, which is great. So you've got to have these nights, and you appreciate the good nights. Yeah.
Well, let's start at the beginning, because we knew this was going to be, or supposedly, the hardest fight of the night for us. Lee Wood against Reece Mould. Yeah. And it was a good fight, a really good fight, but a very hard fight, wasn't it?
You know what? It's not hard to say you're pleased with it when your fighter's lost, but you know, I think that'll make Reece Mould an even better fighter. On a Saturday night, you even could see he was a good fighter. I mean, obviously, originally he was fighting Jordan Gill for the vacant British one, and he'd have beat Jordan Gill, and that's why Jordan Gill pulled out, make no bones about that. He got an harder fight in Lee Woods, but you know, we thought he was capable of beating Lee Woods, and you know, at the end of the third, he'd nearly finished him. It was just like a little bit of experience that he didn't get that job finished in the third. Then he got tagged a few times and went over in the fourth, but he showed a lot of bottle to come back. Yeah. And he won the fifth and sixth. I think he lost the seventh, he won the eighth, and then for some unknown reason, I asked him, he went a little bit wild in the ninth headhunting, and while he wasn't planted with his feet, he got caught with a great counter shot off Lee Woods, and he got knocked out, and it's a shame, but you know, I think he'll have learned a lot in that fight, and I can guarantee you that Reece Mould will be a British champion in the future. You know, so that wasn't too. I mean, he was 2-1 going into that fight. You know what I mean? We seen it as a genuine 50-50, which he could have won. And as I say, in the third round, it was fantastic. You know, he looked like an experienced fighter. The way he walked him down, hurt him a lot to the body, then switched to the head, and then nearly put him over. Pity he didn't do that in the ninth, but you know, I think the ability and experience of Lee Wood just give him the edge, and you know, congratulations, well done to him.
Yeah, very good kid, Lee Wood. I think he's got to relinquish that title and move on now, hasn't he?
Well, I don't know. I think probably keep it till he gets something better with a bit more money for him. But I don't think for 1 minute that he'll be wanting to hang on and get 3 defences and all on the belt, because he's not a youngster no more, and he'll be wanting to get a rush. I would have thought that if Gavin McDonald, which more than likely will do, wins that European title, sticking them two together is a great fight.
Would that be a rematch then?
It'd be a rematch. I mean, Woods was beating him well to run out of gas in the last one, so you know, even though he lost to him last time, you'd have to
7 years ago,
maybe see. I think 6-7 years, 2014 on the Tommy Carl bill. You'd have to turn around and say you'd fancy Lee Woods in it, but you couldn't write Gavin McDonald off. I mean, be a good fight, and I think it makes sense for everyone. But going back to Reece, you know, disappointed he didn't win, but really proud and pleased with the effort he put in, and he'd be a better fighter for it, and he'll 100% come back.
And then obviously Zelfa Barrett got the win, but perhaps not in the way that we was hoping he was going to get the win.
Well, do you know what? When I checked the odds in the morning, he was 1-8 and Kiko was 8-1. I thought that was ridiculous, because you know, he's an ex-world champion who's only ever lost to elite world champions. He's not lost to any mugs whatsoever like that. Obviously Zelfa had the youth on him, shall we say, and
size.
He had a massive size advantage of him. He was quicker. I expected a good performance off him. We got a decent performance off him. when I seen Kiko with his hands up at the end of the thing, I thought he was taking the piss. I'm thinking, how could you think you've won that fight? I thought Zelfa won it clearly. I seen the outrage afterwards, and I've spoke to a few friends of mine who respect their judges, and they're saying like a draw or 1 round for Zelfa. But when I was down there watching it live, I never seen Zelfa in any trouble. I understand that Kiko was pushing the fight, but you know, his jab for me early doors, I mean, he didn't use it as much afterwards as I thought he could have done, but his jab was the effective scoring punches for me, even though Kiko was walking him back. I don't think he was landing much, and you know, he put some lovely combinations together, especially near the end of the fight, where he'd hurt Kiko and pushed him back, and I thought he was a clear winner.
Well, I phoned you after the fight, didn't I? And we spoke, and like you said, you felt it was a clear decision for Zelfa, no arguments. And I said, you know, I'd spoke to quite a few other people, and everyone thought, well, it was either very close, Kiko might have got it by a round, Zelfa might have got it around. I thought maybe a draw would have been fair, but what the one good thing you can take out of that is Zelfa finished the fight very strong, didn't he?
Yeah, he did do, and we got what we needed out of that fight, which was a load of experience for him. And even though he's had a lot of fights, I think it's 26, 27 fights
26
he's had
fights,
now,
yeah.
he has had a lot of, I won't call him gimmies, he's a bit unfair on his opponents, but he's had fights where they've been fairly easy for him. So on Saturday night, he's gone 12 rounds, he suffered a cut for the first time. Experienced world-class fighter has pressurised him and he's handled him, and so he's learned a load. He'll make him a much better fighter, and he's already a good fighter and a special talent, you know. Yeah. I mean, I've seen him spar lots of quality people, and Mould holds his own, and you know, he's going to be
Eddie after the fight went on about the scorecard and was had a little rant about it, and he said a rematch, is that something that you're thinking about? Or
well, listen, I wouldn't be scared of the rematch. I just don't see the point in it, because he's learned what he needs to learn off Kiko Martinez, and if he fought him again, it'd be the same fight with Zelfa punching a bowling ball head, you know what I mean, and you know, he wouldn't learn anything, and he could possibly hurt his hands on his head. So listen, we're not scared of fighting Kiko Martinez in a rematch, but there's no point in that, so they get nothing out of it. So I think we've just got to fight someone else with a different style and learn a little bit more, because the aim for Zelfa is to be a world champion, you know what I mean, and he's more than capable of being a world champion. And if he just gets a few more, he doesn't need a load, but a few more learning fights like that was on there, and he'll be ready, because it's not just about being a world champion and winning. You're at a level where you've got to stay and compete, and we need him to go through that process first, and then we can have a long reigning world champion. And you know, that's what he wants, that's what his uncle Pat wants, and that's what I've got to try and make sure that Eddie delivers for us. Yeah.
And then the final one, arguably one of the biggest shocks in boxing in recent times, Josh losing to Lara.
Yeah, massive shock. I couldn't believe what I was watching on the night, and I've learned lots of things been said.
Well, I walked in before Josh had come down with his wife, and you were having a little meeting. What did you take from that meeting, mate?
Do you know, it was really good to see him, because I'd not seen him since Saturday night, and obviously he was in a bit of a battered state, a bit concussed, and then yesterday I'd seen a little clip of him putting some on video, and he didn't look good. And to be honest, we arranged for him to go and see a specialist today over his shoulder. He's been told that there's no serious damage in that, you know, it's just a lot of blood, bruise, swelling and everything, so they don't think there's anything damaged in his muscles and his bones. That was good news. And when I seen him today, a little bit of the swelling had gone down. He was talking really well and clear, and really positive. You know, obviously he's devastated, which he would be, and we all are as well, you know, because we didn't see that coming. And you know, as I was saying then, there's things that people are saying that could have gone wrong, and he wasn't himself, and he wasn't. And there's loads of little contributing factions, but you know, to start talking about them now would be like we're trying to make excuses. And at the end of the day, for whatever reason, he got beat on the night by a better man on the night, and we've just got to accept it. I mean, my personal theory, and it's my own belief, it's not something that Josh is buying into, or his dad, is that, you know, we overlooked him, and I certainly say I overlooked him, because I didn't ever expect
like everyone
that.
overlooked him, didn't they?
You know, really and truthfully, should you overlook a puncher? We know he was a puncher. No, I mean, I think Josh has got, if not the best, certainly one of the best chins in boxing, and I didn't think he'd get caught, and if he did, he wouldn't bother him. But you know, it didn't turn out like how I was reading the fight, and it didn't turn out how Josh expected it, how Sean expected it, how everyone else in the team, Eddie, Sky, you know. But do you know what? It's happened, hasn't it? And recently we've seen it a few times. I mean, Dillian White got chinned, and that wasn't expected. And then Joshua with Ruiz. And, you know, one of the excuses that we could be giving is, you know, he's focusing on a big unification fight, then he's focusing on a world title fight, and then he's lost his world title out there. All little contribution factors to his mind not being fully focused.
So you think it's just a cumulative of lots of little things that ended up in that performance? He was pretty unrecognisable, the Joshua, not even from the knockdown, but before the knockdown. Josh didn't look like Josh.
No, and listen, he feeds off the fans being there as well, and they've not been there. But I better stop talking, really, because it's like I'm making excuse after excuse, and I don't want to do that. I mean, we got beat, and it's as simple as that. And now it's a question of letting his injuries heal, letting his heart heal, because that's broken, and he's a proud man, and it's affected it. And you know, he's going to come back, and he'll come back just as good as he was before that bad performance. You know, it's like, if I have a bad day at the office, I might upset a customer and lose an order, but I'm back in next day getting orders again and getting the buzz back, and the business is moving on. He's going to have to wait a little bit, but you know, as I say, he's done 15 months non-stop training, and that couldn't have been great for him. You know, I mean, you need a little bit of break, but we've done it. We've lost. We're going to come back, and you know, if it's Lara in a rematch,
is that what it's going to be like?
Well, I'm not saying it's going to be that, but that's something that, you know, we'd like to rectify. And if it's him, it's him. If it's someone else, it's someone else. But Josh Warrington's too good to be having easy fights. You know what I mean? That's not on the agenda. We need to get him back to where he would have been. And if he'd have won on Saturday night, he'd have been fighting Kanju for the Ring magazine and a pay-per-view in Sky. So that's where we need him. You know, we were planning on that big fight in the States, coming back over there, but you know, the plans are up in smoke. We've now got to put them right. You know what I mean? We've got to get back, rectify the loss, and get him into a position where he wants to be. You know, and he wants to be fighting the best. And after Saturday night, it says that we're not ready and don't deserve it. But if we come back with another good performance against someone similar to Lara, if not Lara, I think we're back in there, and with his support, we'll get the big fights that he craves.
Listen, everyone forgets, and then once you put out another good performance, then that's the one they remember.
Yeah, listen, as they say, Saturday nights papers are Sunday morning chipping wrappings, aren't they? You know, it's going to be hard for us all to take it on the chin, but we've got to do and move on. And you know, he's had fantastic nights, some best nights of my life. You know,
Ellen Road was a magnificent night.
Ellen Road were great. So they're all great memories, which I remember a lot more than the bad night on Saturday, which hopefully I can get to the back of my mind as soon as possible. But you know, life's not always easy, is it? And it doesn't matter if you're a boxer or a joiner or whatever, you've always got problems. And you've got to try and take the positives and not dwell on the negatives, and that's where we are now. It's done and dusted. We've got to move forward and start proving to people that Josh is an elite world-class fighter, and we've got to come back and prove it. Yeah.
Right. Nice one, Steve.
Cheers.
Thanks, mate.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
For all boxing info, news and latest interviews, amateur and pro, across the north, click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.